fun because things are actually happening. Very different than most of the time when people get elected.
And I will shut down the federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the state.
Most of the time when people get elected, they claim all these things when they're running for president. Then they get into office and not much changes.
Individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of these laws.
Protecting whistleblowers, which they didn't do at all. It was one of the worst administrations for whistleblowers.
All right, let's dish some friendly gossip about Joe Rogan and Barack Obama. Like we're chatting at recess. Imagine Joe, this tough podcast guy, taking on Barack, the super smooth former president. It's like a playground showdown, but with words instead of dodgeballs. Joe didn't just tease Barack, he totally called him out. Like pointing out someone's untied shoelaces in front of everyone. Barack's fancy speeches? Joe made them sound like a boring book report. Get ready. This story's wilder than a cafeteria food fight.
Obama did it, and it's disgusting. It's a disgusting lie. Let's play it.
Said that there were very fine people on both sides of a white supremacist rally.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Okay?
See, that's crazy. I have never seen that last part.
Because the news has said that lie over and over and over and over.
Barack Obama was president for 8 years, acting like the coolest kid in school who spends all day posing but can't even kick a soccer ball. He talked about hope and change like he was reading from a superhero comic, but things got messy. Like a spilled juice box, the world had big problems. But Barack just grinned like it was no big deal, like he was on a TV show. He even got a big peace prize, which was like getting a gold star for just showing up to class.
Can I get a glass of water? I'm serious. I'm thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? This is not a prank.
You never seen it?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this,
Problem is solved?
Bullshitting the world. Flushes.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say that.
It's 100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? What? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him. No, you bring a fucking water on stage with it.
Joe Rogan didn't even try hard. He just sat back, raised an eyebrow like your teacher when you forget your homework, and asked one tricky question. That's it. Barack started stumbling, like when you trip in front of everyone at lunch. All his cool, smooth talk fell apart. He looked like a kid trying to explain why his project's not done. Joe didn't just poke fun. He took Barack's shiny image apart like it was a Lego tower, leaving just a fancy suit and a confused smile.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, so bitter. And
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie.
Everyone thought Barack would change the world like a superhero. Instead, he was like that kid who shows up to a game, takes a selfie, and leaves. He sounded super smart, like he was reading from a script, but it was all just talk. He'd give a big speech about being kind, then do stuff like sending drones that cause trouble far away. It's like saying you love animals but eating a giant burger. His words were like a fast food ad. They sound good, but there's a catch.
Obama, during this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter. And
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're going to do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie.
Joe Rogan wasn't having it. He ripped into Barack's perfect image with just his brain and that "are you kidding me" vibe. He didn't need fancy papers or big words, just one question like, wait. That makes no sense. Suddenly, Barack's big promises started falling apart like a bad sandcastle. Barack said he'd be super honest, but then he left behind a system that spied on everyone. Like a school principal reading your notes, and those drones, he used them like they were toys. Joe said if your big win means people can't afford doctor visits, it's not a win, it's like making a game so hard no one can play it. Then smiling like you're the best coach ever.
You ever see that? He sips like this. Barely drank it.
There you go. Generally, I have not been doing stunts here, but, you know.
Watch it. What was that?
It just confirms Flint water with his drink.
Get him gallons of that and then monitor his diarrhea.
He wants Hitler's generals to take over, and he's genuinely dangerous. Cut to yesterday and the two of them. There they are chatting. Barack laughing, genuinely laughing, to where like his body is shaking.
Then there's the money stuff. Barack acted like he fixed the economy. Like a kid saying he built the whole playground when he just showed up. Joe was like, hold up. You didn't stop the mess, and you're taking credit for not making it worse. Barack made tough times sound like a fun life lesson. Jobs were hard to find. That's just a chance to grow. Wages didn't go up. That's just practice on race stuff. He could have brought people together, but it was like he just stirred up more drama and called it peace. He'd act like everyone's friend, then hang out with the rich kids who cause problems. Joe laughed because it was so ridiculous. Like a movie that doesn't make sense.
Now that he's a Netflix producer, along with his eight-petaled wife, Michelle, he's producing more racial division. The latest is called Leave the World Behind. It's a fictional thriller about the collapse of technology and what humans would do with no phones or computers. The movie follows a family on vacation at a rental house, and one night they're visited by a father and a daughter who show up seeking shelter. They say their phones no longer work and they need a place to stay. So immediately the white family, because they're evil, that's included in their DNA of course, is suspicious of the visitors because they're black. And it goes on and on and on like this. Here's a clip.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
You can't trust white people. They're evil. This is the guy, remember, who became famous at the Democratic Convention in 2004 by telling us there's no white American, there's no black American, it's just one American. But of course, that's not really a profit model in politics, is it? So he's been stoking race hatred ever since, and the disarray around us is the result.
Joe didn't need a big degree or a team of smarty pants to see through Barack's act. He just used his podcast mic and some common sense, like calling out a kid who's fibbing. Barack, meanwhile, was acting like a movie star, writing books for tons of money and starting a foundation that's more about looking cool than helping. It's like selling super expensive school spirit shirts and saying it's for charity. Oh, and climate change. Barack warned about rising oceans but bought a beach house. It's like saying, watch out for rain while planning a picnic.
Obama went on stage and he roasted Trump.
Donald Trump is here tonight.
And one of the lines he said to Trump, he said, I'm one thing that you'll never be, which is the president of the United States.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
And you can see Trump in his head going, okay, I'm going to run now. That one moment where Obama was talking shit to him might be the reason why Trump was like, I'll show you.
It's like Barack gave a big talk about being safe while juggling flaming torches. His foreign policy was like handing out candy to big companies while things got messy overseas. He'd say sorry for mistakes, but keep doing them, like forgetting your lines in the school play, but smiling anyway. The news loved him like kids love a new toy. Never asking hard questions. But Joe, he just asked, why? Why did rich people get richer? Why was healthcare so confusing? Barack played president like it was a big show, but Joe wasn't impressed by the sparkles.
Do you remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, this, and then they it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
I authorize the armed forces of the United States
In a limited military action in Libya, in support of an international effort to protect Libyan civilians.
Joe cares about regular people who can't afford Barack's big, fancy mistakes. And don't get me started on spying under Barack. The government watched everyone like a nosy neighbor. Barack acts like he's the wise grown-up, but Joe thinks he's just pretending. Joe's takedown was like a laser pointer hitting a balloon pop. Barack gives speeches like he's reading a bedtime story about a country he doesn't visit anymore. He's not mad, just disappointed, like a parent who's already checked out.
Obama's last tweet from Saturday, which is the day this had unleashed, when it started overnight Friday, was, "For decades, Narges Mohammadi has been a vocal advocate for women and girls in Iran. This Nobel Prize is a well-deserved recognition of her courage and the hope that she represents not only for women in Iran, but women fighting repression and violence around the world." How about the women who actually were the victim of repression and violence in Israel? No words for them? Former President Obama, nothing to say about the children being murdered in Israel? So far, I guess he couldn't find time to actually use his little thumbs and tweet something out.
Joe sees right through Barack's cool guy act. Barack's out there acting like America's favorite uncle, giving advice from a fancy house while signing huge book deals with the people he said he'd fix. It's like promising to clean the playground, but selling the toys instead. Joe's not tricked by the shiny words. He knows when someone's just pretending, especially when they smile while taking your lunch money. Barack's whole plan was like a fancy speech with no truth. Joe's podcast was like a truth bomb blowing up all the fake stuff while Barack made playlists to seem cool.
Pull some volume and go full screen.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what? If I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with it.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto.
Now Barack floats around like a wise teacher who doesn't actually teach. He says smart stuff, but doesn't stick around to help. Joe saw through it. Like spotting a fake excuse for missing homework, he didn't yell. He just asked if Barack was so great, what did he even fix? The quiet after that was louder than any speech Barack ever gave.
She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got like 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing. And now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it. And that's still all she's managed to get. Here she is interviewing Dr. Sharon Malone, perhaps better known as former Attorney General Eric Holder's wife. And therein lies the problem, as these two ladies, married to two very famous men, are pissed that they are not the alpha in terms of popularity and recognition.
In the end, Barack convinced a lot of people he was the best, like a kid who wins at popularity. But Joe didn't need to try hard. He just laughed. Like when you see someone acting silly and everyone knows it. Barack's out there selling his story like it's a cool t-shirt, but Joe held up a mirror and showed everyone the truth. While Barack gives speeches and makes podcasts nobody finishes, Joe takes him down with honesty and a bit of sass. Barack's big story might keep going, but Joe buried the real truth under a pile of good sense, one podcast at a time.